following the deaths of 18 people in Ngobozana Village in the Eastern Cape and the killing of 6 CPF members in Qumbu who are believed to have been ambushed while on duty, there is renewed concern about how communities can protect themselves. The killing of the CPF members took place after the Civilian Directorate of the SA Police Service held a roadshow in the province as well. And the Civilian Secretariat provides the Police Minister with advice, research support and civilian oversight with the SAPS. So Thulani Sibuyi is the Civilian Secretariat's Director-General and joins us live now. Good evening to you, Mr. Sibuyi, and thank you so much for your time. Yesterday, we were in conversation with, someone who represents the CPF voices across the country, and they were expressing deep concern about, this incident that took place. And they say that it does appear as if some of the criminals are targeting members of the CPF because they do know that these are community members in some instances who are trying to keep communities safe. Is that what you're finding as well?
Thank you, and greetings to the viewers. That's correct. This is a concern that we are all of us having. But following our engagement last week, we raised these issues, or the communities raised these issues, and we are finding that there is a problem in relation to effective policing in the area, and the trust deficit that the communities are raising in relation to stock theft, which also results in murders, is a cause for concern. But I must immediately correct that it appears that the members that have been killed are not necessarily CPF members, but members of the community that had organized themselves to try and see how they can sort the issue of stock theft in protecting their stock in the area.
So some in the community are calling them CPF members, so they are incorrect.
The information we have so far, it appears that that information is incorrect. The members that have been killed are members of the community who were actually had organized themselves to protect the stock in the area against these criminals. But we had encouraged members of the communities to join structures such as CPFs to assist the police in the fight against this scourge in the area of Qumbu and the surroundings.
And when it comes to this meeting that they were having and talking about how to address this issue of stock theft, for example, is there anything that is coming to the fore at all with how this ambush is said to have happened?
That is the matter that the police are currently investigating, and we are aware that there are breakthroughs that the police are actually following in this relation. But the biggest issue that the community have raised when we with them is that there are cases that they've reported which they don't feel that they are getting enough attention. And as a result, they are also scared to come forward, because as they report cases, then criminals get to know who have reported these cases and so forth. So those are the other issues that we were following up. Hence, we went to the area and we had interactions with the community, we had interactions with the municipalities, interaction as well with the South African Police Service in the form of a district commissioner in that area. And we had encouraged the communities to continue to work with the police in this regard, and not to take the law in their own hands, but to involve the police in terms of passing the information in relation to these criminal activities.
Are they willing to do that, given the fact that they say, for them, trust is at an all-time low, and worried about the fact that the criminals get to know when they then report and they become targets? So are they willing to consider what you're saying?
Yes, in our engagement, we even had what we call a case closed session in the area where we interact individually with members of the communities. They are willing to do that. They just need us to change the approach in the policing, and to be professional in how we handle the cases that they report and how we protect people that come forward with the information. And as a result, we have advised the minister accordingly, and the minister is actually interacting with the National Commissioner, and various teams are being actually sent in that area to intervene in the sketch that is happening in that particular area of stock theft.
And also, how then do you begin to address the issue that they are raising as well of, safety? Because they are saying that they don't even have a way of how they can be able to fight effectively against some of the criminals in order to ensure that the community is safe, because they say they cannot use firearms, but at the same time, they need to then be trained on making sure that they stay safe.
Policing, it's law enforcement, it's a police matter. And our call is that civilians should not engage themselves in enforcing the law, because the Constitution grants the police the authority to be able to do law enforcement, law and order. For us is to be able to bridge the gap that exists between the police and the communities in terms of ensuring that there is a relationship that is professional, that is effective, that is functioning for effective policing to take place.
So in the absence, pardon me, Mr. Sibuyi, pardon me, in the absence of that relationship then, what happens? Because you have communities who are saying that they are desperate. For example, yesterday, we're speaking to Sia, who's speaking for community policing forums across the country. And he says that communities are feeling desperate, and they actually feel that for them, because of this trust deficit, things are becoming increasingly difficult, and you're now finding CPF members who are now looking to ensure that community members are also safe as well, because they themselves are under siege. So in the absence of this particular relationship that is healthy with the police, what do they do in the meantime?
We have realized that the issue of trust is a problem, and we can consistently work around making sure that there is an improved relationship between communities as well as the police. That is why, as the Civilian Secretariat for Police, we have developed what we call an integrated crime and prevention strategy, which guide in terms of the things that needs to be done by both the police and the communities in order to improve that relationship. Because if the relationship is non-existent, we will not be able to fight crime. So the strategy compels the whole of government and the whole of society approach in the fight against crime. But it also fosters the professionalization of the police service to be able to do certain things that are coherent and correct in the service for the communities. For instance, when the crime is reported, we need to be able to be effective in investigating that particular crime. We need to protect the informers that gives information to the police, but we need to be responsive when there is a cry for us to attend cases in communities. If we're able to do these basic things, or police are able to do these basic things, and then the trust will automatically improve in our various communities. That is why we will continue to engage with communities so that they are able to do what they are supposed to do as communities. But we will also continue to engage with the police services and advise the ministry accordingly so that we hold the police accountable in terms of service delivery.
All right, and hopefully we have, a lot more engagements, between ourselves as well, to get a sense of whether or not you are winning when it comes to accountability, and also getting the community members to understand the parameters as well as the police when it comes to effective investigations and how they begin to do their work. But thank you so much, Mr. Sibuyi, for your time. I appreciate it. That was Thulani Sibuyi, Civilian Secretariat Director-General.